welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw, and tonight we have a special guest, Donnie from RPRN Chat. He is here to join us tonight, and we're going to have all kinds of fun. Welcome, Donnie. And first, Donnie would like to lead us in a prayer to start out, and then we'll find out what he knows as of now. So welcome, everyone. Donnie, you have the floor.
I want to thank everybody for showing up, giving us your time. As I open this up with prayer, I want to thank each and every one of you. Our kind and gracious from Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you. We thank you so much for you just being there for us. Lord, we ask you to be with each and every person here and abroad. Lord, we ask you to lead and guide and protect each and every person. Protect our fellow soldiers that are abroad and that are here doing your deeds, taking out the trash that is hindering each and every person. Lord, we thank you for what Trump is doing to the government and how he's changing things for the better, for your liking, for what you had decided and designed for this world, your world, to be. Lord, I just pray that this message that you're about to receive tonight and everybody else, just bless it. Bless it that each and every person be able to understand it and acknowledge it and accept it as we move forward in this new world that we're about to receive. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Looks like the chat room's pretty full. I want to ask everybody, really not going to be doing Rumble Rants tonight. You can go ahead and ask your questions in chat and questions that you have for Donnie as well. And, if you have any urgent medical questions, we can do those at the end if you'd like. But we're just going to talk about what is going on right now and where we think we're at. Donnie is somewhere around here. He'll be right back, I'm pretty sure. Donnie's the owner of Real People, Real News. He's on Telegram. He's all over the place. He's got many channels, and I'm going to have him explain to you. There he is. There you are. So, Donnie, I was just, for the people that aren't familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the position you're in and what it is that you do with all your channels?
Okay. First of all, I'm a military vet and a disabled vet at that. I served 2 tours in Iraq, back to back, OEF and OIF. Operation Enduring Freedom and the other. So it's basically, I was there when it started and I was there when it switched over. And while I was there, I was the person that did a lot of things that were taking care of people, basically, is what I did. And I also went out on over 100 missions all over Iraq, into Baghdad, North Iraq, to the women's prison, to the main prison. And we would transport prisoners to and fro from other FOBs. And when I got out, I had some medical issues from being overseas, so it was addressed by the VA. And then I was awake then in 2003, but things started progressing and I started realizing a lot of stuff that I needed to put out. So then me and God had a understanding, and he wanted me I was in a Telegram group and a gentleman asked me, so why don't you start your own group? And I said, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, I'm just an old country boy. And he said, well, you need to start your own group. And this man had about 30,000 people. So I did. And, God, with the help of God, of course, he directed me. He said, just build it, they'll come. I got tired of a room that was just overwhelmed with bad language and everything. And people had to endure this stuff to just get news. And then some rooms, they would just charge people. And I was like, there's too many things going on and people don't have money. So I said, I can do it and don't have to charge them nothing. So that's what I did. And I created a room, and I started from one room. And the next thing you know, I got multiple rooms. And that's what the people wanted. Each room that I created was created by the people, for the people. So the room has done very, very well. It's 100% human, no bots. And I would say this most of Christians. Now you're going to get some comes in there and just wants news, but if we can show them the way, then that's what we're going to do, because we put God first and foremost. We will pray for anybody, and the power of prayer is huge. We've prayed in our room and had miraculous recoveries. So never forget, the power of prayer, especially when you got 800 to 1,000 people in the room and they start praying. That's huge. And you got the unspoken prayers, you got the people speaking in prayer on live. I have a live 3 nights a week. Everybody's more than welcome to come in. I just enjoy what I do.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for your service, and thank you for doing that for all of us. I know that a lot of people benefit from your rooms and the opportunity to pray for people. Philosophy chat's a lot like that too.
Yes, you are. Yep.
We've become a really good close-knit group who will just lift you up and pray for you and do everything they can for you. If one of us is down, they all lift them up.
Yes, they welcome me with open arms, and I just can't thank you enough. There's other rooms also out there that have basically is in my realm that they let me share my stuff in, and I commend each and every person, each and every group that allows me to do that. It's a wondrous thing when Christian people come together.
It is. Thank you so much. In case anybody's in here from Philosophy Chat, Donnie's been poking around in there on the channel and the chat yesterday because he told me he knew how to get the bots and the impersonators out of there. And I'm like, great, go ahead. Here's a key. So that's what he's doing.
We have, it's a team effort. Okay. Your team and with me, and corresponding with them and showing them what to do and how to do is the main thing. And once we implement things, it gets easier. And if you know what you're looking for, it ain't too hard.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right. So what do you know? What's going on right now? What can you tell the people about the current status with everything?
Right now, there's a lot of chatter going on. Now I can't put out dates, and I can't put out rates, anything like that. But what I can tell you is there are things happening abroad a lot, and here in the U.S. a lot. The stock market right now is being affected, and it's being affected by the tariffs. And people need to understand that tariffs is not just a tariff. It's not just a tax. It's a contract. It's a contract with each country. And each country has to back their currency with their own minerals. Okay. Not like it was before. Before it was based off the United States. Now, the United States currency is not backed by nothing, not gold. It's never been, it was backed by gold when we were under common law. But since we went to maritime law, it's just piece of paper. Now, if y'all can go do your research, you'll find out the U.S. Treasury values the gold that they hold within the U.S. Treasury at $47 an ounce. Look at your TVs and stuff. You'll see gold is up $3,400 an ounce, this and that. When we go back to the gold back standard, that $47 comes up. Okay. Your debt, your American debt goes away with just that alone. Now, the tariffs that we used to receive back in the day, under common law, was paying the taxes in every state. So the people didn't have to pay nothing, not in your city, not in your county. It was all paid for, your roads, everything. But when they changed, then they started taxing the people. And they were still receiving these funds, by the way. But then when the people got accustomed and used to paying taxes, then they just kept giving them more taxes, more taxes. And this done went skyrocketing crazy. And people just don't even know the amount they really do pay in taxes and what it's going for. So now, since we've moved forward, the countries that were paying tariffs back then were very few compared to the number of countries that are paying tariffs today. So the amount of money that we're going to be accumulating from tariffs is going to be huge, like no one's ever seen. And it's already affecting our economy as far as money coming in. Now, after September the 1st, we should get more confirmation on more money that, the totals coming in from the tariffs. I expect something real soon with our taxes and our interest rates because of the money coming in and the jobs. Everybody right now thinks that, the jobs are there, but the job markets are unemployment and everything is coming down. Why? Because there's jobs. It'll eventually get to be where it won't be unemployment no more like it was his first go around and when Trump was in. It'll get to the point where we need workers. Okay, this is where the immigrants come in because he's already addressing it. He's issuing ways to get these work visas for certain people that have done it correctly. And the ones that 1 point something million people that have left willingly, they're already applying to come back and they'll be okayed. But they did it in the right way. So the states won't hurt for long, but there will be a bid war on jobs where people will be transitioning from job to job because the companies will be paying more. I do expect the hourly wages to increase dramatically as we move forward because the taxes in which the employer paying at the moment, they won't have to pay after September the 1st is what I'm hearing. And that's all the new companies that Trump is bringing in. He's making agreements with them. That's just some of it.
Well, that's good. So we had this gathering over in Jackson Hole recently, this last week, that ended yesterday. And that was with the Fed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
I heard that was Jerome Powell still in there? I thought somebody said he was going to be removed or that he was replaced. Was he replaced?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
I don't think so. Anyway, I heard that he said, well, I'll eventually drop the interest rate. And I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of people who have a lot of personal debt, and that's becoming a problem. And I saw that a couple of weeks ago that this personal debt balloon for individual people is becoming a huge problem, and something needs to be done right away. Lowering the interest rate would allow those people to refinance their homes and to put the debt on there or to refinance anything because everybody hasn't, because me included, because I've got a much lower rate than what is available now. I couldn't believe the rates that the kids got I took them out to
Well,
get
it's not really.
cars. It's ridiculous.
I would say that The interest rates, yes, are a problem, but a lot of people are overlooking the next problem in line, and that is insurance. Okay. There's been a monopoly on the insurance side. Companies, huge companies that can offer you insurance at a much, much lower rate because they're so big. The turnover, okay, it's not as, they don't have that problem. So when Trump addressed it, where insurance companies could go across state lines, okay, that started interfering with the amount you pay for homeowners insurance, number one. Then you
Mine
had
just went through the
FEMA,
roof.
right? That's
Ridiculous.
why you had FEMA. Okay, FEMA comes in like you're on the coast. We had disasters. But after that, now it's mandatory that you carry certain insurances. Okay, mandatory. You have to pay it. If not, you get in trouble. Well, that's communism. Okay, it's a mandatory thing by the government. And they're addressing that. So right now, people might pay on your mortgage, you might pay $400 a note on your mortgage note, but you're going to pay three times that on your insurance and your taxes. So you're not even paying a third of your notes, not even going to your principal. They're the ones that's profiting from it. You know, that's just the way it's set up. So that's why he's having to address everything systematically, the way he's doing it. And he's having to do it in a way strategically to show the people the corruption and everything. And then once the corruption is showed, then he addresses it because then he's got enough people to say, okay, yeah, I'm agreement on that matter.
So right now, um, yeah, that's a public reveal. I mean, that's like the real world story. It's interesting watching that and how that plays out, and how they're going to justify going to gold because that's what needs to happen. Interesting. So I have a theory that when we go to gold, if they change the name of the currency, you cannot pay back a loan, something that you agreed to, that you signed to pay back in U.S. dollars. If it is not a dollar, there's no more U.S. dollars. If it's U.S. Treasury notes, or if now they're called notes, and I think that's why. I mean, why change the name? I mean, I think that's why they're doing it.
Well, what the people don't know is when you go to a bank right now under maritime law and you apply for a loan and you sign them paperwork, what you don't know is as soon as you sign that paperwork, let's say you want to buy a home and it's $100,000. Okay, you sign the paperwork, you get your money. The same time that you get your money, the bank is already paid
Oh, I
$100,000
know.
for that loan.
I
Okay.
know. And then they go to the Federal Reserve and get 10 times that amount, and loan it out again. So you really don't
Yeah.
owe the money back. And so that's why I was thinking they're changing the name of the currency just to you're really not getting back what you paid in, and then they charge you interest on top of that.
Well, the U.S. Treasuries, just so everybody knows, when Trump stepped down as president, he never conceded to the presidential race of the last election. He stepped down in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, okay, as leader of the people in D.C., okay, Washington, D.C. He never stepped down as commander in chief, okay, he never conceded, I mean. So therefore, it's at that time, right before he did that, y'all can go look up Tallahassee, Florida, United States LLC Corporation. Look what happened. they filed bankruptcy. And then like 2 years later, it was finalized. So the U.S. Treasury, Federal Reserve was closed. And then during that time, people that were paying taxes, there were reports. Now, I had them coming in my room, which I cover like over 45 states and over 21 countries. And a lot of my news comes from people just like you and other individuals, not from the TV. Okay. These just come from actual people. So it's really hard to see and believe everything that's on that TV. You know, when he did what he did, he exposed everything. And then they moved the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve to U.S. Treasury at that time. And during that time, the Federal Reserve was already filing paperwork to close the U.S. Treasury and to move all the funds into the Federal Reserve and let them make the decision and have control of everybody's money. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
And then another thing, the banks were given a memo to be Basel III, Basel IV compliant, which means that every dollar, every loan, everything in a bank had to be what? Gold back. You can call the banks, are y'all Basel III, Basel IV compliant? And sure, we sure are. But see, at first, the banks didn't want to discuss that. But now, when you ask them that question, they'll tell you, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, we are. But that's what that means. Now they're gold back. That's why a lot of banks had to close because they couldn't do it. The bigger banks bought them out. And now, since you see the banks closing in multiple towns and cities, what else do you see? You see branches opening up. It says money manager, stuff like that. Okay. What's a
Wealth
money
management.
manager? Wealth management. Yeah, same thing. What is that for? That is because they're expecting multiple people to be very, very wealthy in the coming days. I've been watching the debt clock. It's everybody can go visit it. It's nothing, private. And look at the amount of people being joined in as a millionaire. I think it's one every so many seconds. Where are these people? A millionaire
And the other
every so many
tiers.
seconds.
I don't know.
So it makes you wonder.
Really does. I really do think there is still a whole lot going on behind the scenes as we move towards Jasara. This morning, I asked the angels, I was talking to Archangel Gabriel, and those of you that are new here and don't like it that I talked to Archangel Gabriel, Mother Mary, Blessed Mother, spoke to Archangel Gabriel, and he told her that she would have a son, and she said, okay. That's different. All right. So, I just remind everybody that I do what I want. Okay.
Well, everybody talks to God.
Yeah,
okay.
everybody
Let me
talks to
get that
God,
out there.
but people seem to forget that there was the exchange there. Archangel Gabriel came to the Blessed Mother and said, we would like you to have a son. Okay, we'd like you to be this vehicle. And she said, oh my gosh, okay. Back and forth exchange there. There's all kinds of that in the Bible. Nothing new at all. I just learned to listen. And I teach other people to listen. Anyway, so this morning, I was talking to him. And we got a Thoughts Over Coffee for today. So this is Thoughts Over Coffee for 8/24/25. Everything is about to change. We will have significant rises in some cryptos while others will fall. Big things happened financially yesterday and that were not reported. I think Iraq was waiting for something to happen with XRP or cryptos and the ability to link up because he was saying something about that and I heard link up. And so I just wrote it down. Beginning of the week, this coming week, is promising for rate changes across the map. Best possibility for that, fingers crossed. This is still a war. Big things did happen in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we just didn't hear about it. But there is some talk, and I'm sure we'll hear some more talk about that in the coming days. But things are still moving. I have heard from some other people behind the scenes that have heard good things for themselves personally in other tiers. And I cannot pass that on to you. So there is still movement. This is still happening. To tell you why there were delays, I don't know. There were delays. I don't know if people anticipated how long it would take to accomplish this task, moving through the tiers from until we get up to tier 4A when we can be called to exchange. But there have been minions in the bushes that have been jumping out at every turn, and they've had to fight them off to get these things done. They have tried many times to get this rate to come out, many times to get things to happen. So we are still there. They are still trying. It seems to me that whenever Trump wants to do something, he can just put his hand up and everything just kind of goes quiet. So there were a lot of things happening here in the United States that seem to link up with that. So as of now, that is the best I can offer. Once again, we're looking at Monday through Wednesday.
I would agree.
I can tell you that because I'm talking to angels and not real people. Okay? That is a prediction.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying, especially with XRP and all of that, because it all goes together in what's happening right now. Like I was saying, everything has to be backed by something physical. Okay, you can't just create something and say this coin's worth this much when you have nothing to back it up. And keep in mind, Bitcoin, for instance, major players in Bitcoin have pulled out. Okay, the big dogs. And for all the little people out there, that when that number drops like it does and they're jumping in with their few dollars and Bitcoin goes up, look what happens. One of the big dogs cashes out. It takes that little guy's money. So it's not good for Bitcoin. Okay, I don't see nothing good yet on that side. And I'm not a trader of none of that stuff, just so y'all know. I just watch it. However, if you're watching the silver and everything else, my prediction is silver has been coming up for quite some time. Okay, a couple of years ago, it was like $16 an ounce. When I started telling people you might want to get silver, it's going to go up. Well, they did. Everybody thought it was just going to jump drastically overnight, but it didn't, and I knew it wouldn't. Okay, it's been a gradual step, because every time they raise silver, by the way, it costs the banks tremendously. The banks buy it, and you buy it. When it goes up, somebody's going to lose money. That's how it is. And that's why they're doing it in increments. But it's not coming down. The graphs is showing that it's constantly rising. It might come up and then come up and stall. But it's not, once it reaches a certain level, it's not dropping below that threshold, which is great. And gold is doing basically the same thing. It's coming up and then it levels and it keeps going up. So, and then we're breaking records every day as far as the amounts. I think that once everything goes, we'll see just about every metal that the United States has, mineral-wise, oil, whatever it may be, is going to increase dramatically. because everything has been undervalued. In 1993, the last time this was attempted, okay, the Twin Towers. It was going to happen. It was going to be announced, but they hit the Twin Towers. In the Twin Towers on the second floor with the quantum computers. Imagine that. It took them this long to rebuild the quantum computers and put them in an area that the bad guys didn't know where they were at.
I have never heard that theory.
Yes.
Is that what it was about? Is that why they hit those buildings?
Well, if you look at the buildings and people that have access to it, and look at the explosion, and if you got the capabilities of a computer, you can slow it down frame by frame, and you'll see every floor was blasted with some form of dynamite, whatever they want to call it. I don't care, but you can visually see it. It didn't just collapse, go straight down, and it's already been studied. Another theory, it ain't a theory, it's evidence. When the building went down, they cut up the steel, and what did they do with the steel, y'all? They sent it to Asia. Americans didn't even keep it. We couldn't even look at the steel to see if it had blast marks on it or anything. Immediately, it was gone. They took it outside the United States. All right. Then there was a building that belonged to the Navy beside the Twin Towers. The day before Twin Towers blew up, they directed the people in that building not come to work tomorrow. And they've never been directed.
Really?
Okay, that's one thing. Then inside, allegedly, now this is allegedly, inside the Twin Towers, it was supposed to be a certain amount of gold. 2.3 million, they said, I think. But the gold was in another building adjacent, like a block away from the Twin Towers. Beside that building, there were ladder trucks, water truck, firemen, ladder trucks. In that building was the gold. And then after they removed the gold with the help of the fire trucks, that building just collapsed. Wow. So it was a lot of things that happened right under people's noses. Now, anybody knows, I don't know if everybody knows, but the Twin Towers was built to withstand an Category 7 hurricane. That's huge. All right. But you're going to tell me 2 planes took it down? Go do your research. You can go back a long ways and you'll find planes and fires and buildings and skyscrapers that burnt for hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours. They didn't burn but an hour and I think 153 minutes, like almost an hour and a half, and that was it. And they fell to the ground.
Well, I usually don't touch the subject because my co-host on Monday and Wednesdays, he thinks he knows everything about that, and he's probably laughing right now.
Well, I got proof,
but I think it's both, and I always have. I think it was the planes and the charges. I think the whole thing was a setup.
You have to understand, they had the capabilities to erase everything on the internet, and they did. All videos, everything. They are just now starting to release some videos of what the original things happened. Now, just so everybody knows, I'm not the only one in the military, okay, in my family. I have a brother that was in the military. Navy. Lieutenant Commander, 23 years. 10 years, the last 10 years of his Navy, he was where? In the Pentagon. He got out of the Navy, going to retire. He said, "Oh, no, you're too young. You got to go back in, but you can't retire. You're too young." So what did he do? He went back to the Pentagon on the private sector side, he calls it. He had to get a higher security clearance that he had with the Navy in order to work the private side. He went the day my mother passed away. He was going to take the test to become part of the private sector side. And then he was over the cybersecurity task force. And the last thing he did, he gave a big talking down in Florida to a bunch of leaders in some high places. And I can tell you, there are a lot of things out there that people don't know.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Pentagon, he lost one of his best friends when it was hit by that rocket.
You know what's crazy? Is that my father, when I was telling you before the show that he was in Vietnam, and he was an artist that followed the Big Red One around to document. At that time, they didn't have all the video and everything. I mean, it was, he had a camera, and he was an artist that would drew pictures, and everything was submitted back to the Pentagon. Okay. And so years and years later, he met up with a general friend of his, who was a general, 4-star general, and the curator over at the I think it was Pentagon, where they have all the had all his work, and he found out that one of his paintings was hanging on the wall where the nose of the plane came through, and that was his claim to fame. It's like, one of my, but he used to tell me when I was a little girl, and most of my life, just when you think you haven't figured out, realize that you know absolutely nothing.
Well, look at all of it.
As far as the government, as far as what's going on in the world, he says they you know exactly what they want you to.
Exactly. You're a puppet on a string.
So somebody's saying I'm getting interference on my mic. I have no idea. Why? Like, what does it sound like? All right, do you hear it now? Hello? Testing. 1, 2, 3. What does it sound like?
I hear you good.
Because nothing's moving. I hear it now. Is it bad so you can't hear what I'm saying?
I got
like someone's bumping on my mic? There's nobody in here. I don't know. I have a fan on over here because it's hot. I mean, it's really hot in here. Maybe it's a dog.
What you doing? There. Say hi. You want to say hi?
Does it sound like this? Can you hear that? Because I'm thumping on the mic and it's not doing anything. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Is it Donnie's mic? It could be. Mine's like stationary.
Mine's sitting on my stand. I got Beryl walking around moaning and groaning.
Oh, well, as long as you can hear us talking, that's fine. I hear it. I hear it now when I'm speaking. Maybe it's your speaker.
Could be my phone.
I don't know. Okay, they can still hear us, so, Yeah, it could be the signal. I'm not sure. Well, I'm sorry it's very annoying, but you're just going to have to deal with it. All right? All right? You'll be okay. All right? Does anybody have any questions for Donnie about our current situation? Anything you guys like to know? Any questions for me that are not, what house am I going to buy after the RV? Possibly about our current situation. Let's see. Like I said, last Monday in the Gentel we got, the time is near for the global transition. True. Zelensky's visit frees monies in play. I got confirmation this week that is true. that there was something important about that.
But it ain't the only thing is in freeze.
Okay, so on Monday we were talking about in the Gentel about how Vietnam and Iraq were raced for first position. I was receiving information that that could possibly be the case, or it could have been a threat. Just try to move things forward because nobody really wants Vietnam to go first. Because I got that would change everything with the bonds and possibly affect Iraq's rate and everything else if they were not the kingpin. I don't know how that makes sense, but so there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes this last week. We've got what's going on in Jackson Hole. We had Zelensky's visit. Trump's doing all kinds of things, and what he'll do last minute, excuse the blouse, last minute, he'll just put his hand up and try to get everything he wants done when he's got people in a bind. All right. I do kind of think it was strategic. Now, also in the Gentel, it said no more delays. That wasn't correct. So I don't know what happened to Donnie. He's probably back here. Oh, there he is. But if you have any questions, we'll take a look for Donnie.
I don't know what's going on. Every time I start talking about certain subjects, seems like my phone gets attacked. So.
Okay, so somebody said he said that in his opinion, the RV is this month and the U.S. military is leaving Iraq now. What do you think about that?
U.S. military, once everything is completed, okay, and the objective is finished, they can leave Iraq, but just so you know, they're not coming back to the United States right off the bat. Okay, we have one of the largest military bases right next door in Kuwait. Now, I can go into that deeper if you would like me to, Jim, but that's people need to understand, how did they get in Iraq and where was they at before they went into Iraq? And that was Kuwait. That's the reception station.
Okay.
And if you want me to tell them more, I can.
Yes, all going into Kuwait. Somebody said. Can you see the comments on the screen there?
No, I ain't figured that part out there, man.
Right down here, this little lady's face. So you don't see that? Okay.
Okay, I can see that, but okay.
Oh, you're on your phone?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Yeah, that's probably why we've got interference.
I'm a high tech redneck.
All right, here we go. What is going on with military heading towards Venezuela? Venezuela. Yes, don't let this. You got whatever. All right, whatever. Don't let Jen try to pronounce Venezuela. I can do it. But people want to know what's going on.
You got to put that Spanish dialect to it. Venezuela.
That's the problem. Is I grew up in San Diego, so the L's sound like Y's to me. It's just I don't know. I have no excuse for it, really.
I've been around a bunch of Spanish people, and I learned some of it, but yeah, I like it.
Like half my friends are Spanish, or the Mexicans. They don't like it if you call them Spanish. Down in San Diego, they're like, I am Mexican, and I'm proud of it. So, So what do you think? Why is the military going down there? What's going on in Venezuela?
Number one, we have 3 carriers that are there, and you have to understand, a carrier does not go anywhere without its own force. Okay, if a carrier is sent somewhere, whether it be Venezuela, whether it be Iraq, it doesn't matter. It has an entourage. Okay, So now you have three ships, warships. All three have a entourage. So the amount of space that they can cover is very broad. So that means that no ships can pass them without their knowledge. No submarine can come within a certain perimeter without their knowledge. And you don't even know that. Now you just know about the ships above the water. Wait till the people find out what's below the water. You know, there's more to the story than meets the eye. So if they think Venezuela think that they can do whatever, they got another thing coming. You know, yeah, we're going to send X amount of soldiers. Okay, let's think about this. We're sending battleships. Okay, they're sending personnel. There's no comparisons here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the people in Venezuela, there are rioting. They're gathering by the hundreds of thousands as we speak, and they're chanting USA, not Maduro.
Well, they want to be freed.
Correct. That's right. Along with a lot of other countries that chant USA. You know, every scenario in every country that's going on, I've always said this, even Iraq, there are some awesome, awesome people in them countries that will give you their shirt off their back. They will give you their last meal when they don't even have food. Okay? That's the way they are. They're
Mm-hmm.
good. But we also have the bad, just like we have here in the United States. In order for the bad to operate, they have to have the good to cover it up. While they're doing their stuff, you know, people see the good things. They're not seeing the bad things.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting. I was just looking at the coming in the news from Monday for the Gentel. We've got Pacific Rim, loud noises. We've got offshore cataclysm. No need to seize resources or assets, and final countdown to peace. And then we heard about Zelensky coming. We had Zelensky coming, try to end that. And now they're down in Venezuela. And that's interesting. So it sounds like they're trying to get everything in line for Nasara Jasara.
Yes, I agree. But we have to have world peace. There can't be no conflicts. That's what Nasar Jasar is. Okay,
Yes,
there's
but I thought
agreement.
that once we trigger that all the conflicts cease then
Okay,
at
but
that time. Because I mean, to expect, okay, what's the perfect time? When can we do this? Oh, when there's world peace. Well, that's probably difficult, pretty easy to manipulate. But maybe that was the delay. Is all this time they're doing all this work trying to get us to a place where that is easy to do. At the end.
well, if, at the same time, we're addressing all countries and trying to bring world peace. If you'll recall what Trump said over that meeting with Russia and Ukraine, and that they was talking wanting a ceasefire and this and that. He said, "No, I want peace. Period. End of discussion." See, Ukraine didn't want that. That way they could continue the actions. They didn't want to agree with peace.
And the other problem with all these wars and like Ukraine is that it continues to fund the cabal when we've been trying to bankrupt them.
Correct. Correct. I would say that while they're addressing the world peace, he's also addressing peace within his own space here in the United States. Okay. And even in every state, but he's addressing it at a government governor level. Okay. He's done authorized the governors to deploy National Guard. But what the people don't know, the National Guard was put on what they call a soft alert. It was the memos was sent out over a year ago. And that means that any given time, the president himself can request whatever, whenever, wherever, and get it. It was already authorized. Okay. It's over that power there oversees and overpowers the governors in every state. Now, he just addressed the cashless bail, and that's nationwide. That's federal. What else did he just do? Federal. He is addressing DC with the firearms, where it was taking months and months. Now it's going to be days. What else did he do in DC? He just now, for the minor, for the misdemeanor minors, whatever you want to call it, people, they're not going to be going to DC court. They're going to be going to federal court. See, he's done took that out of their jurisdiction. They're not even in charge of it now.
Interesting.
So the court system, from what I see, the District of Columbia, because that's what DC is, was never part of the United States anyway. So you had to take it down and take control.
So if it's never part of the United States and the president is there and he says, "Oh, too much crime here, lots of crime here. We need to bring in the military. Okay, we can't trust the police. Well, you don't have enough police. No. We have to bring in the military." Did he just occupy a foreign territory with them? Did he just take it over?
Well, this
If it's not actually considered part of the United
the
States.
10 square miles of DC, District of Columbia, is a foreign entity which governed everything we do. All of our taxpayers' money, everything went to DC. And that's why none of it came back to the people in the United States. It always went abroad. We can give, but we're not going to give to the people that give the money. You see. So, and also too, they had their own constitution in DC. They didn't abide by the original constitution that everybody else goes under. The constitution was revised a while back. So, and that's why they had to get control of DC. By getting control of DC, you now occupy what? The territory. Just like
what I'm thinking, yeah.
Russia,
and it just all
and
these
Ukraine.
moves lately just are very strategic. It just looks like they're lining up for this to go down to me.
Well, this has happened in multiple countries. Everywhere, like District of Columbia, the 10 square miles there, they had the buildings. They replicated that and put it in multiple countries and built the same buildings. And then now these countries that were giving their money to that foreign entity is now doing what? They done destroyed, most of them done destroyed them buildings and taken over that land. And now the money is staying within their country. Okay. We're doing the same thing. Russia did the same thing in Ukraine, is taking the property back over. Now the United States is doing what? They're taking over Washington, D.C. It's no different. We're just doing it in a diplomatic way, not a war per se.
Here we go again. Yes, in 2022, I was talking to Jesus, and he said August 23rd, God wins. Okay, well, August 23rd of 2022, well, paperwork surfaced in that summer. Of course, I got it before August, the prediction. Paperwork surfaced during that summer to begin the process for Nasara Jasara. And that paperwork was dated August 23rd, 2022, I believe. So that prediction was already came to pass, but we thought possibly it could be something else, like going to gold or something else. So every year on August 23rd, everybody says that. But I think it might have already been satisfied. And for all we know, we've been told that we've been watching a movie. Okay? For all we know, yes, there are real world consequences and things lining up and everything else. But for all we know, it could have been said and done then, and it was just a matter of complying. Once they signed up to that, it probably bankrupt or the old system, the old part. Okay, so Jesus told me at that time, before he told me August 23rd, God wins. He said that you're never going. This is a war. You're never going to win over the enemy until you take their power. And they have so much power in the form of money that if you don't take it away from them, you'll never win. And then he said, August 23rd, God wins. And if that is in fact true, that when we signed up, the world signed up to and had how we don't know how many years to comply, but if that is when they signed up to start the process towards Nasara Jasara, and you got to give the world time to do that, then August 23rd, God wins, and I'm taking the win on that one. All right.
Well,
Here we go again. So go sit down. Anyway,
right now, there are countries that you cannot trade U.S. currency. They're not accepting it. And if they do allow you to exchange it, you're getting drastically penalized. Okay. And so the countries, they have like bad guys in them. These countries are mailing, that's the only way they can do it. They're trying to mail the currency to the US or to another country that can exchange it without penalty. And the mail department, I'm just going to say mail department because there's many sectors in the mail department, UPS and all that other stuff. And that's why all of them were addressed. And so everybody knows. And they're being found. Now, every country, when we go through this next process, Venezuela, but so you know, I got the book over on my shelf. They sent me a book, and it shows the new currency and the denomination of the currencies and how they're changing to basically coincide with the United States currencies, the numerical point of it. And it's watermarked and everything. It's traceable. When everything is implemented, every country is having a problem with multiple things and a bunch of bad things with money, and they can't get control of it. So what do? You get control of the banks first, which they've done. All right, now the United States prints up new currency for multiple countries. Remember, we printed up the currency for who? Iraq. That's how we retained all of the dinar that's in the U.S. Treasury.
I did not know that.
We did. Then we spent billions of dollars, billions, and taxpayers' dollars, by the way. It was pallet loads, trailer truckloads. I'll try to go back and get some pictures I have back from 2003. That will happen. Now, when we do the transition, these countries that are going to be putting out new currencies, the bad guys, okay, they're going to tell the people, bring your money in and exchange it for the new currency. All right. Why did Trump want access to these banks? So they could see how much people had and who's turning it in and everything. Because that way they can find out who's what bad. Now, same thing goes right here from the United States. When they change the currency, there's going to be tons of people that are not going to turn money in, okay, because they do not want to shine a light on them. And you're going to find money in every country, just like we found bundles and bundles and pallet loads of Saddam money just laying around. Now, the same Saddam money that was laying around, people picked it up and they're now selling it online for souvenirs. And I tell people the same thing. When we go through this transition and you see this American money, this no longer worth anything, this just laying around, pick it up, put it in a chest, cedar chest with no, of course it'll stay good. And then down the road, 5, 10 years, open it back up and then make you some little plaques and put you one of each bill on there, and you can sell it for whatever because nobody's going to remember it. All the people, going to be new people in the world. They're going to want to know what's happening. They want to know, see, what does old money look like? Well, here it is. Here, I can sell it to you. And they can sell their money online. And that's, like I said, everything's going to happen. Same thing here. It's inevitable. And that's when you basically shut the door on the black market officially. All the money overseas, these overseas accounts just sitting there by the millions of dollars just sitting there. Yeah, they might as well take it and put it in the bathroom and use it for toilet paper. That's about what it's going to be worth.
You know what I saw about the new U.S. notes a long time ago? I don't know if it's true. I saw that there would actually, so for $1, okay, one note, there would actually be a strip, and it makes sense that we have so much gold. A strip of gold woven into it, just like we have the strip in the dollar bill, so that if you had to, you could melt it down and have that amount in physical gold, so that you're actually holding your physical gold in your hand.
That's
What do you
true.
think about that?
That's true. And also, if people recall the time period when we went through and we didn't have a lot of change going around, there was a shortage of change. But people don't understand is it wasn't a shortage of change. What was happening is the U.S. Treasury, the mints, were minting coins, and the coins that they were minting looked real. They had value. However, each coin that was minted didn't have the correct amount of silver in it. So they started taking them up and melting them down. And the new coins that are coming out, they now have the correct amount of silver because they were cutting the corners per se and robbing Peter to give to Paul. So they didn't have no money. And that was just another way to make money off the people. So they had to go back, not only change the currency like they're fixing to do, but they also had to correct the coins. And that's what really happened. It never was a shortage. Now, they say that it costs more money now to make a penny than what a penny is worth. And I'll agree at this moment in time. But as we move forward, a penny will have more value than it has today.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, a penny will be worth more than a penny. Just like a dollar would be worth more than a dollar. And people say, well, how's that? It's a dollar. Well, remember a stick of bubble gum that was 3 inches long, you could get for 3 cents. And now you can't get a piece of bubble gum that's not an inch, 3/4 of an inch long, and it costs you 50 cents. Or a Pepsi Cola that used to cost you a quarter or 20 cents in the bottle, and it had a 10-cent return on the bottle. That was great. You drank your drink and you turn your bottle in, you got 10 cents. And kids was going nuts, man. They ride around on a bicycle, they pick up these bottles and they make all kind of money. They stopped that. Oh, no, you can't do that. It was huge. You didn't have trash laying around the road. You didn't have plastic in the water, none of that stuff. Everything that we see today was created for
We used to do that for gas.
the
When we
back.
were riding our bikes, but we used to go.
Yeah.
Me and the girls would go around to our parents. You got any recycling? You got any recycling? And you used to be able to put $5 in your car and go out for the night.
Or the quart bottles, Pepsi, the big Pepsis that people remember. They were like 50 cents. I thought that was like huge, man. I loved when I found them when I was a kid. I could get a dozen of them and I had money.
Yeah, well, we were doing in aluminum cans, and what was it, late 90s? No, it was mid 90s.
I'm gonna go grab something off the shelf here. I'm gonna show you something.
Okay. Yeah, so I think what's going on, I was just asking Gabriel about Venezuela. And I think he's going to surrender.
All right. I know what everybody that drinks. I know that everybody that drinks alcohol will know what this is, but it's not alcohol, what I'm fixing to show you. It's a bottled water. Okay, it's never been opened. It's original, and it's made by Miller Beer. Bottled
when did
water.
They do that? Was it some kind of I remember them doing canned water. Wasn't it Hurricane Katrina?
This right here, my friend, is it was a while back. I can't see the date on it, but it's been a while. And but this original bottle, this bottled water, like I said, it's never been opened. But I didn't buy it. I got it out of a storage unit that I take care of, and people don't pay their bills. I just go in and throw stuff away. And then stuff that's good, I normally 100% donate everything in the unit. I don't even sell it. I've done it for 7 years. I make a post, and people come and just get what they want, and it helps a lot of people in need. But I come across that, and I was like, I'm gonna keep that. So, but I have a lot of other things too, like it right there, that I've collected over the years, and people would be amazed at what we used to have compared to what we have today. There was a lot of good things back in the day that benefited a lot of people, and they just been slowly taking it away from you.
Yeah, just even look at the difference between what our lives were like before 2020 and now. I mean, there used to be so many things to do, so many places to go, so many places to eat, so many places to shop. Now I'm a woman. Now I want to know where we're going to shop. All right. And I'm not apologizing for that. It makes me freaking happy. Okay.
It makes me sad.
All the stores are dying away. Some guy over here in Coeur d'Alene, Black Sheep, bought the entire mall and put nothing but outdoor goods in there. And I'm like, where am I supposed to get a dress? All right. It was almost like we didn't know how good we had it just even before 2020, because we used to have so much entertainment, so much freedom, and then people got used to being inside, staying home. I mean, they DoorDash things, and they don't even want it. My kids will DoorDash. They don't even want to be outside when the person comes in. I'm like, I'm out there going, hi, how's your day? Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, great. They don't want to talk to anybody. It's encouraged people to be antisocial. I mean, when we were growing up, if we wanted to have any kind of fun at all, we had to leave the house, and we were gone. I was gone until the sun was going down, and my horse took off running home. Okay, because it wanted to eat. soon as we started driving as soon as we possibly could so that we could go have adventures. Nobody wants to get a license nowadays. They've gotten so used to doing everything online, staying at home, being antisocial. What you're getting is failure to launch with a lot of kids. Um, it's
I was,
sad
I,
what they've done to society.
if I
Um,
got to go out, if I got to go out, uh, and do things like go to a movie or go to the skating ring or anything like that, to me, I had to earn it. Number one, because I was one of them kids, the families that went to school, and we'd go to school one day a week, and we would get our homework for the week. Now the teacher knew this. I go on Monday, she would give me my homework, and then sometimes I'd stay home for a week and I'd turn my homework back in. And my brother, which he was a bookworm, Ronnie, he he hated it. And my dad, he got to the point he didn't want to listen to Ronnie no more because all day long when Daddy wanted us to work, Ronnie would just be, grumbling, grumbling, grumbling. It wouldn't work, wouldn't perform. So he just tell Ronnie go to school, which I was the one that stayed home and worked. Now, I was young. I started working between 7 and 8 years old. I mean, literally, I was driving the forklifts. I was driving every piece of equipment we had. I could weld. I learned how to weld. I learned how to do woodwork, build machines, you name it. I can take a picture and make anything you want. All I got to have is a picture.
that's awesome. I love that.
So, it's, but I was forced into that nature. So, growing up, we wasn't allowed to play sports because we had to
Yeah.
work. So I didn't have a childhood like most people had. I go out, they went out and play sports. They go play with their neighbors, this and that. I didn't have neighbors. My nearest neighbors was 3 miles down the main road. And then my daddy broke his leg in the front yard one time on a motorcycle. And he said, if I ever catch you on a motorcycle, I'm going to whoop you. I was like, all right. So my neighbor down 3 miles down the road got a motorcycle. He come up in the woods behind my house. Well, he told me where to meet him at in the woods. So I went down in the woods, not thinking, I was young, that my daddy could hear us on that motorcycle. So we was just giving it trouble. And then when time come, we parked the motorcycle and we walked up to the house because we were tired and we were hungry and we were thirsty. My daddy looked at Rodney and he said, Rodney, go get your motorcycle, son. And he had took one of them limbs off that weeping willow tree, had been sitting there listening to us on that motorcycle. And then done took that old timer pocket knife he had out. He done took all the knobs off of that limb and had it just perfect. And he gave me a whooping. But when Rodney come back, he whooped Rodney too. Then he told Rodney, he said, you go tell your daddy what you done, son. So Rodney went home, told his daddy. Then his daddy turned around and whooped Rodney again. So, but that's the way back then it was done. They didn't spare the rod to spoil the child. Okay.
How old were you?
At that time, I was probably about 11.
Yeah, I know people. My parents, I didn't get into trouble for much. I mean, I was pretty good.
I can't count how many times my daddy whooped me on one hand.
My brother did. Randy was in trouble all the time. Randy was in like serious, set the field on fire next to our house. I mean, like he
Oh,
did lots of things. Randy's a, but I
my
love him
brother
to death.
did the same thing. My brother, it's no telling how many times me and my brother and my daddy got into it and he got whoopings. He also set the woods on fire, almost burnt everything down. We had to take the forklift and all kinds of equipment over there to try to get that fire put out. All because
Mm.
he was playing with some matches.
It's
It
crazy how
happened.
times change so much.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, but
You
if
learn
you
by your
take a
mistakes.
look at it over time, yeah, it's child abuse, not good. Okay, don't abuse your children and everything, but it just kind of went overboard. And what they tried to do is, yeah, there were some serious situations going on. I'm not going to say there wasn't. Okay. And if you suffered, I'm sorry. But what society did was empowered the children to threaten the parents. So and then everybody else was threatening the parents. So nobody knew how to discipline their children anymore. My parents, they didn't care. But like when I was raising my kids from 2000 on, it was kind of hard because everything was changing at that time. You couldn't just pop them on the butt anymore and say, no, we're leaving. We're going to go in the car. Which was nothing. I mean, just pop them on the butt. But like, I remember I was in the grocery store one time and I've got the baby in there, and Faith, she wasn't feeling good because otherwise she would have never done this. But we were in the grocery store and Faith like wanted something in the checkout line. The baby's crying. I'm trying to pay the bill. Faith is actually hitting me in front of everyone. Okay, screaming and crying and hitting me, and I'm just giving her the you better let's be quiet now, like didn't work. And everybody was watching me like a hawk, like, she gonna hit that kid? What are you gonna do? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm giving her to her father when I get home. This one's yours now. Okay, this one has embarrassed me terribly, and it is yours now. But you couldn't do anything like that. And then it progressed so far that you couldn't even tell a kid anything. So discipline has become difficult over the years because of the programming.
They took it away. See, they took discipline away from the parents, and then the DHS got involved, and then they convinced the kids that if your parent whoops you, then it's child abuse. Okay, but the people didn't realize what was really happening. Okay, the DHS was corrupt. And the DHS over time, now this is coming out now, but it's been going on for years. They would take people away from the parents, total rights. Now they just take them away. And now remember, I was a foster parent for almost 7 years and had a number of kids in my home. So what I'm telling you is facts. They would give the parents adequate opportunities to get their children back on some cases, but in some cases, no. It was a done deal, open and shut. Parents never seen them again. You couldn't find out where the kids went, who had them, and nobody knows. Okay, but now we're finding out that DHS was taking kids and giving them to families that they knew that something bad was going to happen. Okay. But they were control of the paperwork, the paper trail. But all of that's going to come to light. And I'm proud that it is. But I think DHS has more power and authority than they need. Okay. Just say, for instance, you have a child, and I was like, well, I don't like you. I make a phone call to DHS. I report it anonymously. Don't have to give a name, no proof, no nothing. Jen's over there abusing her children. Well, they're going to come knock on your door. They're going to have a police officer. They're going to have to be 2 women and a male police officer, sometimes 2 police officers, and they're going to come and they're going to say, we got to come in your home. No search warrant, nothing. They have the ability to come in your home.
That's so scary.
Okay. That right there alone is just, to me, and I've seen this happen physically.
So what if what if it looks fine and the kids say, no, mommy's not abusing me, and then does the other person get in trouble for calling?
You're not allowed. Okay, what happened is they will come in your home, look in every room, regardless of the complaint. Now, they're going to go through your home, they're going to look, evaluate everything. Then they're going to take the child while one's or most time one's looking at your home, the other one's done took your child either outside or to another room and questioning that child without your presence. And they making notes. Now, it's your word against your child's word. So in some cases, the children are so vindictive that they lie about their parents, and then they have to go hire an attorney, go to court and everything and
They don't
prove their innocence.
understand.
And
That's
but the
terrible.
kids don't know what they
No, they don't
did.
understand what they're doing.
They just want to be able, oh, I wanted to go out this weekend. I want a phone and they won't buy me one. Uh, I want a new phone. This phone's old and they won't get me one. I know how to get back with them. They do stuff like that. Then they find out they're taken away from their parents. Now they're in a foster home that they don't get nothing. Or the foster parent is burning them with cigarettes and this and that.
Ugh,
It,
it's
it,
terrible. Let's talk
it's
about something
disgusting.
else. It's terrible.
You know, I
But
could tell you
what I'm
horror
saying
stories.
is look at how it's progressed over time. I mean,
Yeah.
over year after year after year, how society has deteriorated. I mean, our quality of living, our ability to purchase things, everything is so expensive. I mean, I don't know how the young kids are making it. Like both mine live at home with me because they don't have enough roommates to rent a place. But we live in kind of a town that's gone into a resort town. It's really expensive, but still, I mean, I remember when I was raising the kids, $150 at the grocery store was about average. Okay, $150. Now I walk in the place I'm in $300. There's no way I'm getting out of there under $300.
Well,
Um,
look at my electric bill. This my average electric bill for the past 3 months now has been 400 plus per month, and I'm keeping it at 75 degrees in my house.
Mine has too, but I figured it was 4 something 5. I figured it was because I got all these. I wouldn't replace the big air conditioner, and I got the portable ones. And the fan, so that's whatever. We got to survive. So I just pay it. But the thing
Central
is like
area
my
is
house
higher
payment
than
went up
window unit.
as soon as I got divorced, and I was sitting there thinking, did he do something? Because I still have to like fix the house up and we'll sell it. But like I'm like, did he do something? Did you do something? Why is the house payment up $200? It was it was the taxes, insurance. Everything just went through the roof, and
Well, you
$100
should be.
is like nothing now. It's like a 20
Wasn't your husband military? Your past husband military?
at one time. Yeah, he's veteran.
Well, then you need to take his copy of his DDT 214 and see if you can get tax exempt.
Yeah, pass. I don't really want to do anything with him. So I'm just like,
Well,
no.
it doesn't matter. You don't have to do nothing with him.
No, I don't want to be
You were
connected
the
anyway. I want
spouse,
to
so
try to
you're
get rid of those
entitled.
ties.
You're
No, I'm
entitled to
fine. I
it.
can pay the bill. I can pay the bill. I'm just saying across the board, something needs to change, and it needs to change now.
Oh
Because
yeah,
society has
I
been
totally concur.
deteriorating for so long and inflation has gone up so high. This is the time, and it sounds to me like everything is getting into place, especially around the world for the beginning of Jasara. We've got information coming in from other tiers about certain people doing certain things. It's like we're closing in on it. We're closing in on the start of this, and now is the time. We cannot continue to deteriorate. The truth has to come out. Things have to change. We had to take. It was getting too dark. We had to take these evil rulers out of power, take their money, bankrupt them, get the patriots in control worldwide, and start building back what they have done to the world. We need to get to sound money and do all that as well. Now, I don't know. Some people say, "Oh, we're going to go to gold. Just boom, go to gold." No, there has to be something done so that the gold is available. Okay, so that we can do these exchanges, so that it's legitimate currency, and that has been done, I believe, behind the scenes. So that when we have our private exchanges, it's like, okay, we're going to put this into your treasury account because it can't hold fiat dollars anymore. We're going to put it in your treasury account,
Correct.
QFS account in notes. Okay, and then so that I really do and always have believed that we would have this RV window. Okay, between the time that the other countries revalue and the United States goes to gold. We need that difference in the currency there, and that's where we make our money. And then the United States will go to gold. I don't really know how that's going to roll out. I always saw Trump in the Rose Garden. I don't know if it's the official announcement. But I saw him standing at a podium in the Rose Garden talking about the gold standard years ago. I saw that. So every time he gets in the Rose Garden, makes an announcement, we all get excited. I really don't have any more to add right now. We're just kind of trailing on. It's been about an hour and a half, so I got to get going. But
Hey, people, I got messages coming across the top of my phone, on my phone, like you can't see, not on Telegram here, maybe not on Telegram, but on Rumble. They're asking me my Rumble name is Old Army Vet. I don't know why they're asking that. They might not be watching or trying to get on. I don't know.
Are you talking about the chat on Rumble?
Yeah, my chat. I have my own Rumble. It's Old Army Vet, and if they're my text messages are coming through on the top of my phone, and they're asking me my name on Rumble. So
okay, so everybody knows it's Old Army Vet.
Old Army Vet. You'll see a picture of me in my uniform back in the day.
All right. Well, you know what? If you guys want to find me on Fallawsophy on Telegram, I don't have a banner for Donnie, but of course Donnie is Real People, Real News on Telegram, RPRN chat, and many other places. If you're tuning in now and you'd like to find him.
And you can also they can also find your links in my room also. Mm-hmm. So if they can't find you and they can find me, they can find you there. Mm-hmm. They can get your links out of my room.
Okay. If you would like to book a service with me, you can go to Fallawsophy.com. If you'd like to request a healing or get some of my classes, you can go to JenniferFallaw.com. And I think that's all the advertising. I don't like advertising, but I have to remember to do it. Self-promotion.
Got to pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
Hey, Uncle Sam.
All right, guys. Well, Donnie, it was just a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for all your help in my rooms and for being around and all your wisdom tonight.
It's a blessing, sister. It's a blessing, total blessing. I want to thank each and every person out here that's listening to us and those that are going to listen to us for giving us the opportunity to even be here today. And thank God for allowing us to wake up and being able to even do this. It's a glorious thing when you can do something that benefits the people.
It is. It is. And hey, you guys, you've all been through a hard time. If you're sitting there going through a hard time right now, I'm going to tell you what I do when I go through a really hard time. First, I'm going to reach out to God. Okay? You want to lay everything on him, okay? Then, you're self-absorbed. We want to shift our attention to somebody else. And that's how you pull yourself out of it, okay? Go and do something good for someone else. Be that counsel for somebody else. The best way to learn something is to teach somebody else. Go find somebody else who's in a hole and help them out. and you'll get yourself out of your own. Okay? I want to thank everybody. Donnie, any last words?
Yes, I'll tell everybody the same thing. When you're in doubt about anything, the first thing I suggest is look up to God and ask God, what would you do? And then you'll get, if whatever God would do, that's what you need to do. You know, ask yourself, what will God do in this situation? And you won't go wrong. And you'll come out happy and smelling like a rose.
That's right.
Every time.
That's right. All righty. Well, God bless everybody. God bless you, Donnie, and thank you so much. And I will see you Monday morning tomorrow on Real News Live with Mike and Jen on Rumble. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye-bye.